Okay, it's Wednesday, October 24th, 2007, and we're looking at a 15-second chart of the E-mini Russell 2000 with a bunch of HUP lines on it, and you see some red dotted lines here, purple line, and light blue lines with prices listed on the right of the chart. And here you can see the 15-second bars that are starting to develop. The opening has not yet occurred. It's still 4 minutes away until the 9:30 open. So let's describe what we're looking at here. The red dotted lines are first standard deviations below a VWAP. The purple line is a peak volume price, and the light blue dotted lines are volume weighted average prices, VWAPs. Where do these come from? Well, let's take a look. The 812.85 VWAP, first standard deviation, comes from a chart from yesterday's data shown here. Here is the 812.85 standard deviation below the VWAP, and this particular value is drawn as a dotted line. It's the last value from yesterday. It's drawn as a dotted line on this chart and is automatically transferred through the Ensign software to my 15-second chart. Now you see the value has changed. No, it's still 812.85 down here. The next value up at 813, let's see where that one comes from. That comes from this chart. Let's see if we can get that on here. That's 813. Okay, so here is the chart that comes from. That's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 day. We draw it here. Okay, it's a 10-day chart or 2-week chart, and you can see the 813 standard deviation below the VWAP, and that value is then transferred as well to my 15-second chart. And then we have other standard deviations below the VWAP, the 813.33 value. That comes from this chart shown here, and that's a 1-month chart of data with the 813 standard deviation below the VWAP up here, and that's transferred to this 15-second chart. Okay, the market is open, and let's just watch and see what a price action does. You see the price action touching the 816.04 VWAP, from a previous chart, bounce off, prices head back down. That 816.04 comes from yesterday's data. Here you can see the 816.04 volume weighted average price, and this is yesterday's data. And that number is transferred to the 15-second chart. Okay, so prices bounced off, moved back up, now moving above at VWAP, then coming back down again. So let's just watch this for a while. You can see what happens. Now you notice 816.40 popped up here. That's the peak volume price. On the 2-month data chart. And here's that 816.40 line, which again the software has transferred to the 15-second chart. And you see that price action bounced off at 816.40, dropped below 816.04. Now we're moving down. We're dropping fast. We get to 813.30. Let's watch and see what happens at that point. $813.30 is the first standard deviation below the VWAP of a 1-month chart, which you can see here. Okay, is the 813.30 first standard deviation below the VWAP at 828. 17. Okay, we got a bounce off there. Let's see what happens. Breaks through, goes to 813, bounces off there a little bit. Then goes through that, goes through 812.86, and heading down to 812. $812.86. Okay, again that's first standard deviation of yesterday's VWAP. Here's yesterday's VWAP, 815.99, and that 812.86 value here. So in this case we broke through and then came right back up again. So here we have 3 standard deviations. First standard deviations near one another. And watch the price action around this region. We got an 813.20 peak volume price just popped up. Where is that from? Let's take a look and see. Okay. It's coming from the 2-day data. There's 1 day, 2 days, and the peak volume price for the last 2 days is at 813.20, shown here. So what is your expectation here? Expectation here would be for the price action to break through the first standard deviations and continue on down. Is that what price action usually does at first standard deviations? They move on to second standard deviations? So let's see if that particular scenario works out this morning. My expectation is for price action to move down to the 811.49 area. And at 811.49, I'd expect a bounce. What is 811.49? Well, that's a VWAP, and it's the VWAP for the 2-month set of data shown here. Here's 811.49. And this is a 120-minute chart with 2 months worth of data on it. So let's see if that happens. Well, I guess not. We're moving back up to 815.91. Expect a bounce there. Okay, we're back at 815.91. Again, 815.91 is the VWAP for yesterday's VWAP. Took the bounce off 8:15.91. Notice this is the second time that we came to the 8:15.91 price. Here 8:16.70. Will we take the bounce off there? Okay, we sort of pause in that region, 8:16.70. It's a 5-day VWAP, or 1 week. So we bounced off there. Move back down to 8:15.91. Notice that readjusted to 8:15.89. Keep in mind that these lines are all dynamic. They will change as more data is added to the mix. Now again, my expectation is we get to the first standard deviation above a VWAP, 8:17.52, and we should continue on up. And for the moment, we're just oscillating between two VWAPs here. This is a congestion zone. There we go. Broke out 8:17.52, and we should move up to 8:18.95. Again, 8:17.52 is the first standard deviation above the VWAP of 2-day data. Here you see 2 days worth of data, and there's the 8:17.52 value for the first standard deviation. So we broke out of that. If we get to 8:18.95, we should break out of that one and then move up to 8:22.01. $8.18.95 is the first standard deviation of yesterday's VWAP. So let's see where that goes. We're bouncing around the 8:17.50, 8:17.70 region. region here, of course, is a congestion zone. Number of HUP in this region. So price action tends to stall there. But at some point it's going to have to move out. And the most probable direction would be above these first standard deviations. So the question you want to ask yourself is this tradable? Well, at the moment I'd say no. If I were going to enter a trade, I would do so up here, and I would go long at 1894. Going long at 817.63 isn't a high probability trade because of this peak volume price sitting in there, which would cause the price action to simply bounce around a lot. Similarly here at 816.70, going long again isn't that high probability of trade, again because of all the congestion that's above it. However, the short trade below 815.92 would have been a good bet. There's virtually nothing below there. Okay, so here we're coming back up again. Get to 1894, we should break out of that and continue heading up. Now there's clearly more data, HUP data somewhere in here that's not on this chart. Exactly what that is, I don't know, but something's holding up that price in this region. Here's a one-year chart, and we're over here. We're not near any yearly data that I can see at the moment. Okay, so this gives you some picture as to what a HUP chart looks like. and what the price action does in the vicinity of these various HUPs. So we'll stop at this point.